It's Mario World Podcast episode 30. It's me, Mario.
All right, I'm out. See you.
That was a great intro.
Today's topic, cringe.
Introducing cringe.
Yeah, I don't like showing my camera because I'm lazy, but I realized, dude, I could just be Mario, so I'm Mario right now.
You're pretty much a VTuber at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, you're a VTuber
exactly
now.
What's going on. I also don't like turning on my webcam. That's why mine isn't on right now.
Yes.
Wait a second, you're in the same room as Nathan.
I am.
What?
Oh, look at that.
How did that happen?
Hello.
This is fake.
Where?
Oh, it's
We
not
did
fake.
it.
Wow.
Oh,
Nice.
wow,
Green
that actually
screen high
connected.
five, guys.
Green screen high five.
Friends, don't
be
forget
crazy
the
to
sound
edit.
effect, the clapping sound effect.
yeah.
There you go. I'm sure he added it right. It's all
Oh, we should have done the joke. Grant, edit me into Nathan's room.
Add like 4 more Charles for no reason.
Yeah, they're in the closet right now. They're in the recording room. I'm one of the many.
Yes. Charlie 1,
So what
2,
do we
3, and 4.
Yeah, I am the 5th of a series. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are we talking about today? Also, I have narcolepsy, so I'm just gonna be falling asleep every so often.
Okay.
Okay,
that's
I
fair.
just want that to be
understandable.
known.
Wow, you can sleep talk?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
So I think today we want to talk about Nintendo 2021 predictions
What else
and
is new?
also
Oh.
3D World plus Bowser's Furry.
Bowser's furry.
Bowser's
Yeah.
furry.
That's
He is
exactly
furry.
what
Bowser's
it is.
Furry, the new DLC.
Yeah.
Or in other words, Odyssey
Was anybody
2.
really anticipating that? Yeah, like him being a kaiju, basically. That didn't make any sense to me. Like,
It has like hardcore like ruined kingdom vibes from Odyssey.
oh yeah, definitely.
It does.
With
Like
the
the super
Bowser.
high contrast, super dark.
Yeah.
I don't get what it is though. Like I don't get if it's just like one level, if it's like one world, if it's like its own standalone thing they're just slapping in with the game. Like I don't really get it.
It's either going to be you unlock it at the very end, or it's going to be like a standalone like game mode. I can kind of see it being like a game mode. Like the way they're marketing it, I don't think it'd be something you unlock, because why would they put it like on the box?
Yeah.
It's probably going to be something that's like on the menu and you click it and it's like, here's an open world, and then you have to like get a bunch of those like sun coin thingies, and then when you get enough, that's when you fight Bowser. That's what
So-
it kind of comes off like.
Is it his fury because he's mad at his son for helping you? I'm trying to figure out like what the context of why he's mad.
Well, I thought it was.
Why is Bowser mad? Man, what a question for the age.
Well, from what I saw, it was that Bowser got super angry, and that's what made Bowser Jr. go to help you.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that Bowser Jr. helping made him angry. It's just that he has to help because he's angry.
I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I skipped around the trailer a bit.
Yeah.
So I came out, I was like, oh yeah, they came out like 2 hours ago. I should probably watch that.
I
was
also
watching Nico.
vaguely skipped around it.
Me and
Because
Nico were-
it was
me and Nico were
It's 2
definitely.
minutes
streaming it.
long. Why do you have to skip
it's
through
2
a
minutes.
2-minute trailer,
Life.
dude?
Imagine
dude,
having
exactly.
time.
I don't have time to watch 2-minute trailers.
That's 2 minutes.
It was
No,
good.
but for real, like, I definitely would assume that would have the number of. Well, maybe that's overestimated, but like the amount of content of a single world. Like, you know how there's like world 1, 2, 3, like, isn't there like world star or something like that? Just
Yeah.
be like something like that. So if they're going for an open world thing, they probably have various challenges, and there seemed like there was still more game to it after you started fighting Bowser. So it might be like there's 6 or so sort of levels, like various little challenges around the area, and then like another 6 after Bowser starts being angry or something like that. But then again, it could also just be like an hour-long thing where it's very minimal. But it does look very cool, I think, because like I did not expect it to be like actually free open roam, like controlling the camera and everything, you know?
Yeah, that just kind of
Yeah.
came out of nowhere. I mean,
Especially
I do
for
think.
a game that's so restrictive with camera. I mean, you have what?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
3 angles in 3D World?
Yep.
You have your side
Yep.
angles sometimes, and then you just have the head-on angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does look like there are like specific missions, because like there was a fight with Pom Pom at one point for like one of the sun things, and then you're like on this invisible area. So I mean, like we've been saying, like it really does look like DLC for Odyssey, but with inside 3D World, it's super bizarre.
I think
Yeah.
it's like the most obvious when like you're writing. It's not Dory. Or is it Dory?
Plessy.
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 Yeah,
Like, when
Dory's
you're
the blue
riding
one.
Plessy, like running away from Bowser, like in the ocean. That's like
Yeah.
the most. This is Odyssey, but also 3D World. Like, what's going on? It's so bizarre.
Yeah, I don't
So
know. I
what
still
if-
stand by my theory that I was gonna say I still think it was meant to be like Odyssey DLC at some point, and they just like repurposed it for 3D World to help promote it or whatever.
Well, what if it's used to test a new, like, the future Odyssey out? Like, if they are going to roll like an Odyssey 2, or I think it's a little late in the game to put DLC out, but like,
Yeah,
what if they're testing a full open world concept in a small micro release so they can see if people actually like it?
That's what I was.
And then
thinking
maybe they
too,
can pretend
actually.
what they've been working on either doesn't exist, or they can actually
That's
just
the
grow
one.
from it.
Yeah. I mean, I could kind of see that, to be honest.
I'm honestly
so
really
cool?
open to it, and thank you, Nico, for providing the visual.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm really open to it, honestly, because I like open world sort of stuff like this. Like one of the reasons why I like Banjo-Kazooie so much, for example, is because it's so open. Like it doesn't have you going around and like fighting Bowser in little areas. It's all about like big open spaces. This is not on purpose, by the way. I don't know why I did this. Like I'm trying to go back. But yeah, I like the open stuff, and this open sort of concept is super cool to me. So if it is, also, was that an actual cat?
yeah.
It
There's
looked
like
like an
actual
actual
cat.
Yeah, there's
cat.
actual
There are actual
too.
cats, yeah. People have
Oh,
a
that-
theory that it's the other characters that were transformed to cats.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting. And then
wow,
Mario has to
yeah.
fight all on his own.
Interesting.
I could see that
Maybe.
being the case.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe, you know what it is? You can only save, like, one character at a time. So, like, you have to beat it first with Mario, then you, like, save Luigi, and then to get Peach, you have to play as Luigi. Maybe it's something like that.
That would be cool. I
Huh.
like
That
that.
would
idea.
make sense.
Also, now that I notice it, there's only 5 cats, and I think that confirms there's definitely no, like, hidden characters, because all those colors represent all the characters in the
Yeah.
game. So,
Who would the
Peach, Toad.
Yeah, that means there would be.
who's the dark gray one?
that's
That
Rosalina.
Rosalina.
That
Waluigi.
Rosalina.
Yeah, it's Waluigi. Yeah, because a lot of people were thinking, well, maybe there's, like, a new character or something, which, honestly,
Give me
that's what I was
coin.
thinking as well.
It would be cool if there was a new playable character. Do you think that
Yeah.
Bowser Jr. is going to be playable, or is he just going to be a... So, like, I think there's either he has no interactivity, where you can't control him at all. You can control him a little bit, like a little companion, or he could be fully playable, sort of like a like Cappy in co-op mode in
Yeah.
Odyssey.
I think it's a
Oh,
combination
yeah.
of Cappy and
Probably
the cursor from
Galaxy.
Galaxy.
Yeah, that could
Yeah.
definitely be the case. I'm really interested though, because I haven't seen them do something like this, where it's like a whole other character like that just floating around you.
I also want to say, go back to the part where Bowser Jr. is drawing on the wall. It's so weird because, like, the only thing I can think of when Bowser Jr. is, like, drawing out the weapon is there's this map in Call of Duty Zombies Black Ops 2 called Buried. And you have chalk, and then you, like, draw your weapons, and this is, like, the exact same thing. Where he's just, like,
much, dude.
drawing the weapon. I'm like, oh, wow, this is Zombies. I've played this.
Actually, I think it's funny that you guys mentioned that like Bowser Jr. might be like Cappy, because Nico, if you can go back to like where you get the sun metal thing, Bowser Jr. comes out at like the same time that Cappy would show up during that animation too. So I think that you guys might be onto something with that.
Oh, yeah, possibly.
Just like destroys that piranha.
Yeah, that's
Maybe-
what I'm thinking. Like,
This is the
you go.
aftermath of when Bowser went to shield Bowser Jr.'s
yeah.
eyes.
wait, what?
I said this is the aftermath of when Bowser went to shield Bowser Jr.'s eyes for the parental controls.
This is what happens.
Only let me
Bowser
play
caught
Mario
him
Kart,
looking
will you?
at content he was not supposed to again, so now he's angry.
I mean,
Junior?
everything I'm seeing, it feels like they went like, hey, let's combine Odyssey, 3D World, and
Galaxy.
then like a
I mean, the
little bit
scale's Galaxy-wise too.
of like
though.
Galaxy and Sunshine, because obviously, like, has he used his brush much outside of Sunshine?
Literally never. I don't, unless
Just
it's
Smash Brothers, but
Well,
that's about it.
I mean, like, I guess,
Yeah.
like, main games I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. Because he uses his brush in a couple
It's like
of sports
tennis.
games.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
right.
think for tennis, it's like a special move in the GameCube one, but yeah, that's about it. Not for, like, a main game.
Interesting.
Not even, like,
yeah, because
not even, like, New Super Mario Bros. That he doesn't use his brush.
Yeah.
I actually really like that sort of brush power set he has. I've never been a huge fan of his Smash moveset of him always in the clown car.
Oh, I hate
like, I
that.
think him rolling around with the brush is like one of the coolest things about him, because he got started from Sunshine.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting. Like I like the scale here. Like climbing up on that like floating like building looks really cool. But it definitely makes me wonder, like, if you could control him and make him go around and hit stuff, like, could we do a Bowser Jr. only kind of thing, or like, I'm just also imagining like the fun stuff you could do with him if he is controllable, because that could have been a ground pound, like a normal attack. Like, these could all be things that a player is doing, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah, and it's interesting because honestly, the movement and even the scale and even like the dynamics of the level, like none of that looks like 3D World challenges. Like 3D World's very, I love it. It's good, but a lot of the challenges are very cookie cutter until you get to like the bonus worlds. But even that big rotating like windmill thing, like the depth of that makes it feel like Odyssey 100%. Like I feel like I can scale that in my mind in Odyssey, but I wouldn't have a chance of doing that in 3D World.
Yeah. I imagine a lot of that comes from like you couldn't have that shape building in 3D World Standard because of the camera limitations. Like it's like I think you said before, like 3 angles that you really get. Meanwhile, on Odyssey and Sunshine and whatnot, like you aren't limited in that sense because it's fully open world. And maybe that's why they went with this, because it gives them more opportunities for creative stuff. By the way, is that a thing that he's been able to do before, holding a shell, then running and turning into the shell?
Yes.
Okay.
You can do that in 3D World. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
What do you think, Nico? You've been silent. You've been a video this whole time.
You've been the trailer this whole time.
I'm just the trailer, dude. I have no opinion. No, I personally think it's not like... I think it's going to be a game mode on its own. And it's probably going to be very short from what I can see. And my idea is that you're going to have to like do a couple challenges. And it's going to be time-based. And I feel like Bowser is going to turn into a Godzilla monster every like 5 to 10 minutes, and then you gotta fight him to then start over. And I think this is gonna be what they're gonna go for this game mode. It's gonna be time limited. That's what I think.
I never thought of it like that. I guess it could work.
Is
like
gonna
that
disappear March 31st?
Oh no.
Oh god.
The game just disintegrates.
You have a month to play it, and then it goes away.
I swear to God.
Biodegradable Switch cards.
Oh god.
I don't know what this big Bowser fight is going to look like.
Yeah,
like,
first off,
weird,
is that even Bowser, or is that like a totally different entity? Because why is Bowser Jr. teaming up with Mario at all?
Because he's mad at his dad.
Wait. What if Bowser Jr. Yeah, if I can talk. What if Bowser Jr. drew an angry picture of Bowser? And that's what came to life.
Ooh.
Big brain. Big
maybe
brain.
I'll
He created all the bosses. I mean, in Super Mario Sunshine, they all explode into paint.
You gotta make a video on this, Swanky.
Theory. But according to the video description, it says Bowser has become gargantuan and lost all control. So he lost
interesting.
control.
Okay.
Join forces with Bowser Jr. to stop his big bad dad in the Bowser's Fury adventure. So I don't know.
How would he lose
It
control?
was that
too
description
much
that made me
power.
think that it's just like he got a little too lost in the sauce, and you got to stop him.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like it.
The only thing I can think of is that like maybe he got his own like mega cat belt, but why would he lose control? I don't get it. Like why wouldn't Mario lose control when he gets his?
That's true.
I don't know.
Because Mario
Yeah.
turns into a lion.
Yeah, he
Oh,
turns
yeah, he
into
definitely
Goku.
has that, like,
Goku
sort of,
Super Saiyan, dude.
Yeah, Super Saiyan hair.
He gets all the Chaos
Dio.
Emeralds.
Yeah, he gets all the
chaos.
He has the Master
Look.
Emerald, actually, the best one.
There you
This
go.
is the shrine, look
Super
at it.
Saiyan Mario.
Dun 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 dun. It turns into Pokemon
Yeah,
Sword
the
and Shield.
Gigantamax, like
Yeah.
That makes
I love
no
that Mr.
sense.
Tongwa
Just-
made the meme on Twitter today. It was funny.
like
It's
this,
literally
like, wait,
Dynamax.
there's
Look at
a
it.
there's another angle right after this, I think, where it zooms out.
Pokemon battle.
Yeah.
Right there. I feel like that's going to be run around, free roam, and then that you fight them
Yeah.
with like swipes and stuff.
Oh, definitely.
But that's why I'm thinking it's like it could be time based, but I would imagine it's objective based. The battle starts and then it's like one of those interactive boss fights where you have to do some tasks to finally unlock the bell and then beat him up. as one big final climax of the thing. I think no matter what it is, it would be really cool if we then go back with other characters, because with something open like that, it's always fun to try new strategies and tactics, and being able to run around as Peach would definitely open up more things than, say, Mario. So
especially if the 3D world mechanics still apply.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really hoping that is the case, and I think that would give it a lot of fun replayability, because it looks really cool at the moment, though depending on the scope it might just be sort of short-lived, you know?
Yeah.
Which honestly, I'm
honestly,
trying to think of the logic of the only reason why you would show the final climactic scene, hypothetically, of a game mode would be if it's something that you can reach readily, right? I mean, I'm just trying to think of the logic behind it. Like, sure, it stirs up hype, but it also kind of spoils it. So I'm wondering where that choice came from in terms of, like, why specifically show the moment before the big throwdown, and if that's the last thing, then that's kind of weird.
Oh,
there might be
true.
like different forms that they didn't show us, like of the final fight.
What?
What's what?
It's time-based, I'm telling you. You
Oh.
gotta
I
fight
mean-
Bowser multiple times. It has to
That
be.
is,
I don't know.
that could be it. It could also be a swap it up. That climactic bit is near the start. He breaks apart the bell. You have to reform it by getting the weird cat mask things, like, and then you can actually take him on for real now, once you've learned the power of friendship with Bowser Jr. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that a game / I think even Nintendo has had it where it's like you're at your highest at the start, you get broken down, you build back up. Like, that is a pretty. I'm sorry, I'm really lightheaded from all this spinning. I just can't help it though. It's like it's a compulsion. But I think that would really. That would explain why we get to see that thing, and then there could be extra forms at the end where he's really in there for real. Because if that is the final battle, that is a little sad for them to show it. So I would like that to not be the case, and there to be more than meets the eye.
Something else I just thought of, I don't think anyone's really brought up, is like, how is the multiplayer for that mode in particular going to be? Like, for the final battle, if there's like 4 of you playing, whether it's online or local, like, do you all turn into... is everyone Dynamax, or is this just like a single player thing?
Well, yeah, I don't think they confirmed that it's multiplayer yet, did they?
Yeah.
I don't think they said anything about that. They haven't confirmed or denied.
Because they did confirm online multiplayer for like the base game, right?
The base game, yeah.
Yes.
So with that, they might not even worry too much about making this new one multiplayer. It might just be limited to 2-person co-op, where Bowser Jr. is super limited. Because in a game with like Odyssey and then Galaxy and all those, like, it's hard to have co-op because you're limited. That's why Cappy is like stuck in a certain range around you, and in Galaxy you're just the cursor, so you don't actually have a physical form to deal with in terms of like keeping track in 3D space. So that might be the case where it's like Cappy, where he's like limited to you, and you can't go too far. It's a lot of questions, which I think is good. It's nice that the trailer raises questions, because I was worried, like, the worst thing a game or DLC or anything like that could be boring, and this does not look boring. I think it looks really cool.
Yep.
And I'm glad they're trying some stuff, because I don't think any of us want to see the same stuff over and over again,
Right. I mean, the last time they did something like this was what? Yoshi's Island, I think, where Bowser became, and former Bowser became super big in the background. I think that's it. Honestly, looking at it, what it reminds me of instantly? Smash's Giga Bowser. Like,
Yep.
just straight up.
Except, like, cooler. Like, they made him look more badass.
Because he's a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's
Well, he's
not
a
a
cat.
cat anymore.
Well, not
Is he
in
not?
Bowser's Fury, no.
I
he's
thought he
just
was
like-
still like vaguely cat.
just like
or
a
is there
really
no catness
big
to him at all?
Bowser.
There's no cat there. That's just
He doesn't look like a cat at all.
Okay.
that's literally a
What
demon.
if he's actually part fire dog? He's
Also,
Cerberus.
okay, can we just pause there for a second? Go back.
Yes.
Go back to that. Pause. I mean, play then pause.
It looks like the moon block from Odyssey.
Yes, that's what I was going to point out.
Oh.
That's literally
Oh,
the
he-
moon block. It's the same asset.
Oh yeah,
like
I was thinking it is that sort of.
Yeah. Which, like, it kind of, like, further confirms, like, this was made, like, remade through the Odyssey engine. Hence
but-
why the game moves faster.
But would you guys agree that like the animations don't look like Odyssey at all? Because that was something I
They
was
don't.
noticing. It's like
No.
they look so much like the 3D world animations, so like
Yeah.
it messes me up like the physics being combined with the animations are not the same.
Yeah, it's gonna be super weird to play it at
But
first.
I mean, he moves. I mean, it seems like his movement is more fluid and faster. Like
he is definitely
Yes.
faster. I think you're just talking
it
about the
looks
animation
stiffer, too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the animations look a little stiffer.
Yeah.
Well, I
more
know
stiff.
that I just played 3D World the other day to try to do a challenge. Spoiler: came up with absolutely nothing, and it was boring. But I played for like a few hours. The challenge was boring, not the game. The game's still
Okay.
fun.
Okay.
But
I was about to kick you off the call.
Yeah, I was like, oh, the fingers right over that kick button. But from what I had played and remember, yeah, it looks like it's all just 3D World. I don't know about the speed of the game, because I've heard it's faster than base 3D World, which I think is awesome. I like
I think
when
I
games
saw
are
John
faster.
posted me on Twitter about that.
Yeah, and if that's the case, that's awesome. But like in terms of animations and everything, it definitely looks like it's 3D World, but I don't know. Do you think it could be a crossover? Like there'll officially be like it is Odyssey crossover, or do you think it's just like they pulled assets and whatnot, and they're like, it's not an Odyssey crossover, but like yeah, we use some stuff.
I feel like it's
if
gonna be the latter.
officially a crossover, that would be really cool.
Hmm.
Because I don't think we've really
Yeah.
had that in the past.
Yeah. I think it's
I'm
more
always
likely
just
just
one-
its own
Oh, go ahead,
thing.
Tetra.
I was gonna say I think it's more likely they're just doing like their own standalone thing. Which kind of I guess just even in the title they like kind of separate it with a plus to kind of I guess infer that it's its own thing. I think it even has its own like little section on the box art if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
3D
A little
box.
corner.
Yeah, it's kind of like the funky mode, but not. Yeah, so it's like it's like a little cutout on the bottom. So and again, I think just like based on the size of how big it is on the box art, I think that might be a good representation of how big the extra content is relative to the base game. So it could be again just like its own little 2-hour thing to fool around in. But I guess we'll
How
see.
big-
Like, we don't really know much yet.
How big was Bowser's Minions?
Oh, that was really small. I remember. I didn't play it, but I heard it was just like a couple mini games or something along the lines of that.
Okay.
Nico
No,
turned into the
Nico, you
Switch
turned into a
box art.
box.
But yeah, I hope like my only worry is that it's going to be like really short, like kind of like a 1 hour, 2 hour one-off thing. I hope it has a lot of like replayability, and I hope it's like at least a little bit big. Otherwise, I'll be like, man, like this could have been so much more. It could have been like its own standalone game.
Definitely.
But yeah, I guess we'll see when it releases.
In a month. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
1
It'll
month from
go
today,
real
of
fast.
recording.
Anyone else going to try and cop that new Switch design? Or
There's
No.
a new Switch
special edition?
design?
It's like a new special edition.
Why?
I want it so
okay.
bad.
Why
Is it where it's
is
just like the
I love it.
custom
It's so
skin?
good.
why
That's
is the
so cool.
kickstand black
Yeah.
but everything else is red?
What's that?
Because you gotta paint it yourself.
They had a bunch
yeah.
of
What's
extra
still black?
stands.
So Tetra, there on the 4th image from the tweet today, they showed like
Okay.
the back of the Switch, and the back of the Switch has the kickstand still the black color while everything else
Oh.
is red. It
I noticed
bothers
this.
me so much. I can't stand it.
I guess it's
I'll-
because they
I'll
don't
show
want to
you.
change their whole production just to repaint the hinge. They probably didn't have that before.
Yeah.
But
I just
if
love
they're
the,
gonna-
the Switch itself is actually red. I think it's so cool.
That
Yeah,
does
I
look pretty
love
cool.
that the shell is red.
Cool.
I love that the shell is red, and even like
Mm-hmm.
the grip is blue. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Why is it black? I'm sorry, Bob.
That's pretty cringe.
It's his
That is
mustache,
pretty cringe.
Nathan.
It's to
It's
fit with the
one
buttons.
It's the fit
My-
with the buttons.
Oh my God.
I want to get it. My only worry is that they're gonna make another special edition for Breath of the Wild 2, and I'll be like, ugh. I should have
Oh,
waited.
you know they will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be a
You gotta
nice
buy it
gold
again.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's good. I bought 7
You need-
3DSs. Who am I kidding, dude? I'm just gonna end up getting both.
Damn.
You might as well.
But yeah,
Hold off.
I don't
hold
know
off,
if we've
Tetra.
said as much as we can because there's a lot of questions, not a lot of answers without playing it on the
Yeah.
3D World. But I was gonna say, I think, call it prediction, call it a hope. I think the best way they could do it, no matter what, is we play through it and we can play through it again in time-based mode, so they're like individual challenges and other characters. Because I think all those things would make it really fun. Because I super appreciate them trying something new, because we know that Nintendo at times like to try stuff new with like motion controls and stuff, but at other times like they just do the same thing.
Yeah,
That
it's like,
horse
I
is
feel like-
dead.
Yeah,
So.
gameplay wise, they don't usually innovate that much lately, anyway. It's mostly just been on the hardware side of things.
Yeah.
And even then, like we haven't really seen. Again, this is a whole another discussion, but like we haven't really seen that many first-party games utilize a lot of like Joy-Con like motion stuff. As far as I guess you could argue Odyssey uses it a lot, but it's kind of I would argue it's kind of forced in that sense.
I'm 100% okay
Wii.
with that. I just want the games to play.
Yeah, exactly. I don't mind it, but I feel like it was such like they were showcasing it so much when they announced the Switch with like HD Rumble and this and that. I just feel like it's not for better or for worse. It's just games are just I guess more so normal, traditional.
Yeah, I mean when they do lean into it, like Super Mario Party, like you literally can't play it with a Pro controller, or you can't play it if you have a Switch Lite, like stuff like that. It's unfortunate because it immediately nullifies like a portion of the player base who can't do it. But I mean, I think it's always nice when a console, because Nintendo has always often had gimmicks of some kind. I like when a console has a gimmick and they use it well. Which is why I think for the Wii U I was so frustrated seeing that. Like a lot of games didn't really utilize the gamepad all that well.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like they innovate with the hardware, but then when it comes to developing the games, they like don't utilize it as much as they could, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the biggest gimmick that actually worked that Nintendo ever did was Mario Maker on Wii U. Because like that was like made. That gamepad was made for that game. But outside of that, I mean, like 3D World also had the gamepad where you had to like touch the platforms and they go up and you have to like blow into the microphone to have platforms move. But like now it's probably just gonna be mapped to buttons. So I think it's just hard when you're creating gimmicks out of like nothing and expecting not only yourselves but other people to utilize them properly. I think it's just really hard to do that.
Yeah. Good thing this is the only Nintendo game. I was going to say, good thing this is the only game coming from Nintendo this whole year.
Yeah. Is it the only confirmed game this year?
Like, first party, I think.
I've looked around and I don't feel like there's anything else.
I mean, Breath of the Wild 2, the trailer for that dropped. Was that
4 years
ago? 2 E3s ago. Or there was no E3 last year, so last E3, technically. 2019.
And that's the only thing we pretty much have heard about it since then.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, do we want to talk Zelda? Because like there's some stuff happening this year for it. Like it has its 35th anniversary next month.
That's true.
Skyward Sword has its 10th anniversary in November, so we could see something.
HD re-releases, maybe.
No. I don't really care that much for Skyward Sword as much as the other games in the series, but I'd be down to get a remake. Wouldn't be opposed. Dude.
People have been like, "Oh, we don't need a Switch version." No. I dare you to say with a straight face that the Wii's motion controls are somehow good and or better than Switch's, because it doesn't hold up
done it otherwise.
at all. Even with Wii Motion Plus, it does not hold up. And a big reason why Skyward Sword doesn't appeal that well is because it's hard to play at times.
Yeah,
so like
it's boring.
Okay.
Was that Nico?
The story is good. The story is good.
That's solid. That's good.
But everything else is kind of
yeah.
I agree. But they could easily do like a 3D All-Stars thing for Zelda. They could throw in like Ocarina of Time. But I don't know if they throw Majora's Mask in, but like Wind Waker, Skyward Sword.
Or
if they just follow the port thing they did for Mario, I'm sure they could
if they do
scrap
that,
something together.
It wouldn't be the best, just like with 3D All Stars. It wouldn't be the best, but it would be something. Like I recently made a video where I talked about my wrong opinions about Zelda games, and in it I mentioned I had the collector's edition for Zelda, which was released alongside the GameCube, and also you could get it if you're like a Nintendo Club member. But it had Zelda 1, 2, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and then a demo for Wind Waker, and that was so incredible. It was also awful because it ran at like 20 FPS. There was audio issues in a game where there's a lot of musical things and actually playing music. So it wasn't perfect, but it like let me play those games when I didn't have a N64 available. And if they did something similar for the 35th anniversary, where it's like maybe a couple more games or something, I think that'd be awesome. But
that would be kind of crazy, honestly, just adding more to the mix, because I had the Master Quest Ocarina of Time split for GameCube as well prior to the that was before the collector's edition came out, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was a pre-order bonus for Wind Waker, if I remember correctly.
That's actually a really good pre-order bonus. Like 2 games? Like, wow. It's pretty good.
If you pre-order this game, it's probably because you played the other ones so much.
Exactly.
Here's the hard version of it.
But yeah, I mean,
Now
they have
it's
a lot
like-
of options in terms of Zelda. Like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say pre-orders nowadays are like, here, have this keychain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Here's the
comparison.
TV box.
I actually saw Nico's water bottle. I was like, is that a Fallout 76 like Nuka-Cola mug?
This?
No,
it
he
is.
goes.
I honestly was almost gonna buy one of those, and I'm so happy I didn't. Those things are so bad.
Because it was like a plastic shell.
Yeah. Oh man, dodge that.
but yeah,
bullet.
so-
but I didn't.
I'm glad you did it because those ended up being rough.
I was gonna say I didn't dodge the bullet of Fallout 76 in general. I was a sucker that bought that special edition, so that's
Dang.
good.
Oh,
Did you get your
no.
canvas bag?
I did got both.
Yeah,
Garbage
both
one
of
and
them.
yeah.
But yeah, in terms of what they could do for Zelda, I think a big one, which I would be super open to, is remaking the very first Zelda. Like, I know it wouldn't be for everyone,
like
but like,
Like
I
Link's
really,
Awakening.
yeah,
Engine
like
kind
Link's
of thing?
Awakening.
Yeah.
I really loved Link's Awakening because I still think Link's Awakening and even DX, it doesn't look that great, and it is limited to like a handheld. And you know they've touted the original Zelda so many times as being good, but like go back and play it, it's like this is just rough to play. So it'd be
Yeah,
nice to have
like-
it as a remake.
That first Zelda game is one of those games you have to play it with a guide.
Yeah.
It's actually, I think
Yeah.
that's probably like the one Zelda game, besides Zelda 2 as well, that desperately needs a remake so that it can be polished up, just obviously graphically, but also add in some way for there to be like clues as of where you're supposed to go. Yeah, 'cause
Actual clues, not like, oh, it's in Gibdo's mouth. It's like, well,
like,
who's Gibdo?
like what's that? Yeah.
Yeah.
We need
What is in
Wanda
his mouth?
Gamelon too.
Yes.
CDI
Yeah, let's
collection.
go.
Oh my god, the CDI collection.
That would be a great collection. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
But it has to be digitally upscaled through an algorithm. They can't actually recreate the art.
Yeah, exactly. It ruins the
God,
magic.
Data Mosh Link. But yeah, I think
AI upscaled.
hell yeah, dude, a remake would be cool. I think a collection of games that are hard to come across at this point would be cool. And seeing as the fact they refuse to do any N64 or higher, like virtual console, like everything's hard to come by, I guess, because it's like.
Yeah.
But I mean, then again, they have the 3DS versions. But yeah, every other game I'm thinking of, like they've had some sort of love. Like Wind Waker had HD, Twilight Princess had HD, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. Those 3DS versions are really solid, I think.
I would love if
But yeah.
they ported those to the Switch, like both Ocarina of Time and
Yeah.
Majora's Mask.
If
That
they were
would
to
be
do a
incredible.
collection,
I would
it
love
really should be
that.
the 3DS ones and not the N64 ones.
But you know they're not going to do
They
it.
won't. They won't do that. But they should.
That's what they
Yeah.
do
Will
on
you eat your
64.
sweater if they do?
No. Oh, that's only for Smash Bros. Announcements.
Damn it.
I'll eat a sweater. Fuck it.
Stay away.
I had heard a friend mention like, oh, what if they wanted to do their own Zelda maker? And it sounds really far fetched, but
It's
like
still
Link's
a good
Awakening, there was a
idea.
dungeon maker, and it wasn't
Yeah.
that bad. I could see them doing something, or a like Zelda 35 sort of esque thing.
Yeah.
I think there's options there. I'm just worried
Yeah.
that in recent years I've definitely become a little soured in terms of like I'm worried that if there's an option between the lazy and the innovation, that they're going to go for the lazy. Then again, we just saw Bowser's Fury, which was pretty innovative from what we've seen. So like I have sort of higher hopes, and maybe the 35th anniversary for Mario was a sort of swing and a miss because it just wasn't. I don't know. I want it to be good. I like Zelda. I want there to be good stuff. And I would love to see them actually do some fun stuff that's not just a port or collection. But then again, I still
Yeah.
appreciate that because, yeah.
So
That's where I'm at with that.
if somehow Breath of the Wild 2 drops fourth quarter, hypothetically,
Yeah.
what would you guys expect to see in it? Or how do you think they would kind of reuse the same world but in a different way?
They'd probably change all the shrines at the very least. That'd be like I feel like that'd be like the
Flip
big
them.
change.
Mirror them.
Or right.
It's supposed to be like a prequel, right? Because it's supposed to be like in the before times. I haven't finished Breath of the Wild or Age of Calamity, but Zelda not dead?
No, Age of Calamity was the prequel.
Yeah,
I
Age of
think-
Okay,
Well,
but
Age of-
isn't Zelda dead? Question mark.
No, she's not dead.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so to clarify, Zelda was in stasis throughout Breath of the Wild. Age of
Oh, okay.
Calamity is a prequel technically, but it's really a prequel that splits into a different timeline because of the time travel shenanigans.
Spoilers. Okay.
I'm just saying. Like you don't need to know any of you don't even need to know the story to enjoy Breath of the Wild or Age of Calamity. I feel like.
Okay.
But in terms of Breath of the Wild 2, from what it looks like, it's Zelda and Link going around and exploring a thing we saw. I've seen so many videos made on a like 1 minute trailer, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I'm hoping is if they're using the same world and they're keeping some of the aspects like Zelda, she could be playable, maybe. There could be more of an emphasis on the sort of because like we see, I think in the trailer we saw. Oh, whoops. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just playing. I'm playing.
Nico, become a trailer.
Yeah, I'm about to become a trailer. Give me a
Snap.
second, guys. I'm here.
Kind
Trailer
of
Nico.
piggybacking off that, we see the
Yeah.
ground rise up, the castle kind of goes into the sky.
Yeah.
If any of that stuff had happened during Breath of the Wild, before Breath of the Wild, or even in Age of Calamity time, there would have been a mention of that, right? They wouldn't have been so shocked at what Calamity Ganon was. I imagine, anyways. They would be like, "Oh, there's this dude in chains who's causing all this, or something." So I think it has to be, definitely a sequel. And I don't remember the language at the end of the trailer, what the on-screen text says, if it actually literally says the sequel is in development or just Breath of the Wild 2 is in development.
The sequel.
Yeah, sequel.
Sequel. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Myth
So-
busted.
I just don't know. I mean, what is the logic for wiping the map, I guess?
Oh, like how are they going to justify reusing the same map without it being the exact
Yo.
same? Like, what is the
Yeah,
reasoning there?
What other game does... I mean, there are other games that do this. I'm trying to remember
Banjo,
where, like, something... Sorry?
Banjo Kazooie and Tooie.
I suppose so, yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, the
That's
levels
true.
are different,
Yeah.
but the overall overworld is technically the same area.
Okay, Pokemon Black, I believe. You go back through the same region, but they swap it up because it's been a couple of years for that.
I guess
Um,
Pokemon
Oh yeah,
Gold and
Black
Silver.
version
You go back to Kanto.
Watch.
that's true.
And it's smaller.
I
It's a lot
suppose,
smaller.
but I'm just wondering because like all the shrines are completed, they still have to be there. I mean, unless the world's
Yeah, 'cause-
magically
yeah.
going to terraform. Maybe the biggest debate is the castle rises up and flies over the horizon to the land next to Hyrule and then goes down.
Or get this, Hyrule but flooded. Never been done before.
Yeah,
That's true.
And you gotta ride a
Hyrule,
boat
but
around,
dark.
a boat that talks to you. And you
Oh,
gotta,
dude, and for some reason Link is really cartoony, and it's just Wind Waker
Yeah.
2. Hell yeah!
Sounds
love
interesting.
So
Like
so
this idea.
okay, an actual thought is like how did Calamity Ganon become Calamity Ganon? Do we even know that? Like, I don't.
Bowser's
think-
Fury.
Yeah,
all full
Bowser's Fury. Yeah, no, so like
It's all tied
like
together.
they
maybe
both did the same thing.
the chained thing is like the source of the power. Just how like in past games there was like a Zelda big baddie, but in reality it was something even worse, like powering him. Like that power could rise up the castle and like just demolish the land, so that like all the shrines are like
wiped
ripped
out.
away, and maybe like stuff rises up to form sort of dungeons and whatnot. So you have a little more of a standard Zelda format.
God, I hope so.
What that would be like, I want to see more standard Zelda. I would love to see like a hook shot. I'd love to see more like Zelda equipment brought in, and I think that is why it would make sense, because like we've already had the open world, and I'm just gonna be gameplay now, because it's so hard to be the Mario face. Like it just hurts my cheeks. But I think it would be cool to have more standard Zelda. And I don't think we want to have just Link roaming around again through Hyrule again.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't feel right. So if like them going underground and like sort of maybe accidentally helping unleash this new power demolishes the land even more, or even resurrects more stuff underground, because we've already had like, oh, there's just towers underground. Why couldn't there just be entire structures that rise up to overtake the land, and then you have a thing where like, well, get it back out there. Good job. Like you gotta like do more stuff.
Well, I mean, like they also could do like another like Majora's Mask thing where Link gets whisked away into an isekai and has to do it like it's like a just completely different dimension or in his dream or whatever, and it's just like its own separate story. For all we know, that intro could just be like the intro to the game, and the rest of it's completely different.
Oh yeah, I mean we haven't seen gameplay of it, right? So you're right. It could be a completely different land, like because we know there's stuff farther away. Obviously, there's ocean to the east and south, and then like more land. If he goes to a sort of Breath of the Wild Termina, like I think that could be cool. Like I would be totally open to them just completely yeeting him into a different location. No matter what it is, I do hope Zelda plays a part in the story. Because the fact that they're together at the start is really cool. Like, one of the reasons I actually really enjoyed Age of Calamity is just moments of him, like, we gotta run. Like, he doesn't say it, obviously, but it's like, we gotta run. And he grabs her hand, and they're, like, running together. And I'm like, oh my god, they're actually interacting. Like, what is this magical, like, concept? Because in a lot of the games, they're so separate that you can never even imagine them, like shaking hands, let alone hugging or like being close to each other. But in Breath of the Wild, obviously we get them, like her crying in his arms and stuff like that. Like, I'm not here trying to ship them or anything, but I just want them to have emotional connection and actual interactions. So if she plays a part in the sequel, I think it'd be really awesome.
Yeah, Age of Calamity really, I mean, honestly, you feel more for the characters from Age of Calamity than you would in one cutscene than you would for like the entirety of Breath of the Wild. Like Breath of the Wild is so like bare bones in terms of what it interjects into the story. But like Age of Calamity is like, honestly, it's like a 3-hour movie or 2-hour movie, cutscene wise. And you learn a lot about the characters, about their relationships, and it just kind of, I don't know. I sort of wish they would have done that more in Breath of the Wild, but I'm wondering if they'll do the same, what kind of treatment the second one will get.
I think it's possible Age of Calamity could be indicative of what they want to go for the sequel, because I know that the game director for Age of Calamity worked together with the main dude behind Breath of the Wild, which is why it's not just some random spin-off, but like a technical like prequel. Because like if all things had landed together, I think that's how it would have turned out in terms of... Because like, I don't want to talk too many details in Age of Calamity, because I think people should play it, but like... Zelda has a sort of arc in terms of her character. Like, she actually has like things that she's like happy about and sad about, and like she's trying to work on stuff and be useful. And it's like, oh, it's a character. I like characterization.
It's actually her legend now.
Yeah, I want Zelda to actually matter. Just how like I wish Peach mattered in more of the games, and like I want all the characters to matter, and seeing an Age of Calamity that, like, them actually have character and sometimes argue and try to work things together, like, I think it's awesome, and I want to see that with Breath of the Wild too. Because I think the worst thing it could do is be 1, boring, and 2, the same. Because like Majora's Mask is not the same as Ocarina, even though it used the same assets. Like, I want to see another Majora's Mask in terms of like try new stuff, add more things. A new location would be cool, or completely change up Hyrule. But yeah, if it's the case of them in a totally different land, I'm also fine with that. What if they go to Lorule, the secret Link to the Past crossover?
What if
they have options.
I'm wondering if Zelda will be playable at all. I think that's been a big, I guess,
I hope so.
topic surrounding this game. Because that would really change. I mean, what if like at the beginning Link just gets like hit by a rock or something and he's out, and then you play Zelda the entire game?
Most of the game.
I don't know.
I get you. It's
not
like,
obviously that, but I mean just the fact that if Zelda plays a more major part.
I could see it totally working if she has to be playable at times, or I don't know if it'd be like you choose at the start and then it's one or the other the whole time through. But the things like in some games where I guess fine to say, like in Last of Us, you have to play as Ellie at some point, you play as the side character that you never thought you would play as, and I thought that was really great because you are forced to sort of redo some stuff. Like, it wouldn't make sense for Link to be like, what is survival? Because he's just been through all of this stuff. But if, like, Zelda has to jump in and you learn, like, for example, some of the survival, like, craft fire, this or that, as her near the start of the game, like, oh, that would make a lot of sense. So, like, yeah, maybe he's taken out of commission for a little bit. But I would love it if there was some sort of thing where we jump back and forth as playing the different characters, because I could totally see her reasonably going around slashing a sword and, like, doing some of the stuff Link does, because they've shown her to be pretty, like...
Capable.
She's capable. She's not like a dainty princess like in a lot of the stuff, which is why I disliked Wind Waker, because they were like, hey, look, it's a great character and princess. So I would love it if she's playable, because it could also introduce a lot of cool things. Because I mean, is she gonna lose her magical divine powers? Because she was pretty divine, and then all of a sudden, like, what, she would be without it? What do you think there?
I don't know. I mean, how do you also, like... Go ahead, Tetra.
I was just gonna say, I hope she has the power to make weapons not break. That's all I want.
Well, she had the bow of light. Part of me, because they have shown zero gameplay, I feel like there has to be something, I don't know, big, I guess, because if you just come to the table and show the same thing, like, people will be like, okay, that's kind of cool, but, like,
why did it take so long to show it?
I'm just trying to...
Or it's like, I've already experienced this, like, why... Like, I don't know.
Well, I feel it probably has to be something new, because if it was old, if it was, like, the exact same map, the game would have came out already, like, for sure, because, I mean, it's been, what, 4 years? Or at least it would be coming out, like, this year, for sure we would know. So... Yeah, there has to be something substantially different for it to take this long to come out.
What was the gap between Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2? How long was that?
2 years. Those are also
I just think, like,
different games. And they also reused a lot of levels. Like,
what was the difference between Wind Waker and Twilight Princess? Because those are pretty separate, but they both came out...
4 years?
Yeah.
Wind Waker was 2003, Twilight Princess 2006.
I think a better comparison, what about Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask? I think that was 2 years as well.
2, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty quick.
That was fast, yeah.
It was a graphic reusing assets.
Yeah. I think my hope is... I think I'm super down for the idea of it being a new land. And... Oh, maybe... maybe King Ollie uses the power of paper to take the castle into a different land, and then you have to go around and destroy the streamers.
Destroy staplers?
Yeah.
What are we talking
about? I mean, it could be a case of, like, you have to chase down the castle.
Paper Mario, the Legend of Zelda.
Yes, Paper Zelda, the breath of the origami
people
king.
made, like, mock-ups of Paper Zelda, and I think they'd be super awesome. That's just, like, a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for Breath of the Wild 2. Obviously, we haven't seen much, but, like, I think there's a lot of options, and, like, from the characterization we've seen in Age of Calamity, which I feel like is going to be indicative of what they're going to do for Breath of the Wild 2, I am optimistic, which is dangerous. That's where the sad times come from.
Yeah. I just think if they're releasing it this year, there should be a trailer, like, March time, and then if E3 is a thing, probably more info around summer. I hope they do some sort of something for the Zelda 35th. I assume at bare minimum, like another trailer for Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's going to be either the game comes out this year, that's the 35th anniversary, or it comes out next year and they confirm that, and then there's, like, some ports that come out instead.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's already people talking about, like, the console after the Switch. Switch is going to be out for 4 years already, so it's like it's not nearing the end of its life cycle just yet, but, like, now is when rumors of the next console start happening, right? It's like we're in the NX phase of the next console right now.
Introducing Switch NX.
Yeah, so, like, if they decide to, like, postpone this game to, like, do another, like, dual console release, then I guess the Switch never really had its own standalone main series Zelda game. It'll be another case of, like,
I really hope that's not the case.
Yeah. I guess
And by the way,
it
it's
depends
still
how-
obnoxious. People act like the Wii U version for Breath of the Wild never existed. Like, come on, it was there. Don't act like it wasn't.
That's the actual version.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My hope, like in terms of console, like I think it would be great for the Switch to have a beefier version as like the next one, like how they didn't they do that with like new 3DS
Yeah.
versus 3DS?
Kinda.
Yeah, like I think it'd be great because like I have no problems with the Switch as it is. Like I like how it plays, how it feels, like, and a lot of the issues I can think of when it comes to other games is like, oh, it just doesn't run that well. So like beef it up a bit and like still make everything play together. Like you could extend that out and not really.
Yeah.
I really don't want to see them push out a Zelda for the sake of something like that. I think getting a trailer sometime next month or the month after, or even a teaser for a trailer, because they have done that in the past of like, oh, we're going to be releasing a teaser trailer. Like they've done that. So I want Zelda. I want it to be good, and I want it to be soon. I think that's where it boils down to.
But with all that out there, you know, we've kind of mainly focused talking about Zelda. We talked about Bowser's Fury. For those of you listening or watching, what are some of your predictions for 2021? Do you foresee any games coming out for Nintendo, ports related, you know, kind of main releases? If you're on YouTube, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to read them. And with that, I think this kind of wraps up our 30th cast.
Yes. This is our 30th anniversary of this podcast.
Happy 30th.
It's going to go away March 31st.
So, yeah, 5 more episodes until we delete all Minus Cast. So.
Yes.
So subscribe now while you still can.
That's right.
Yeah, because you never know when we might arbitrarily remove it from the internet.
But thank you so much for watching and listening, everyone. And we'll see you all soon. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye
In
bye.
a bit.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice night. Or else.